make 3 videos, make 4. The last one is gonna be the longest. So I mentioned it briefly in the last video, right? Yeah, I'll do that later on Twitch. Yeah. Okay, I'll add you on Twitch, yeah. It better not be for a logo, because I'm not interested. But yeah, I'll add you on Twitch, sure.
Setting device on Bravo.
Anywho, as I was saying,
Countdown started.
right?
Enemy movement in the area.
Let's talk about
Moving here.
consent.
You've won that round.
Let me add this
Get
person
ready
on
for the
Twitch
next one.
first. But yeah, let's talk about consent.
Moving.
I mentioned this in the last video,
Switching sides.
right? So I mentioned this in the last video.
Search and destroy.
That when it comes, I hate when they say, "Oh,
Hostiles are after the objective. Defend them.
yeah, let me add you. Oh, pro-lifers don't care about consent, blah, 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 blah." And when you actually take this principle, it's actually really cheap.
On the way.
For a real reason. You see, I know definitions are, subjective, but I think we can agree that consent is something that will require, at least 2 moral agents. 2 moral and rational agents. Right? Let's agree to that. So, when it comes
Hostile UAV in the area.
to... Let me copy this message.
1 minute remaining.
Control C. So, when it comes to pregnancy, right? Who are you consenting to? And I heard this in a different live. Like, who are you consenting to, right? Like, just imagine this. Like, if it's something that, right? If it's a principle that requires at least 2 moral agents. So, when regarding the pregnancy, who are you consenting to? Well, the baby obviously can't consent, so you can't use that argument, because you can't consent to pregnancy. And you're not consenting to yourself, right? Like, if there were no other human beings, right, on Earth, consent wouldn't be a principle that exists, because there would be no one to consent to, right? So the principle would also be here. So pregnancy does not apply to consent. You can't consent to a biological process. But what a person meant is, well, consent with the father and the mother consent to the abortion. Okay, so, well, there's 3 parties involved. Obviously, one of them can't consent. So I would already see a reason why that would be wrong, right? As I said in my previous video, parents should only make medical decisions for their children if it's in the best interest. I already made a video about that. But, again, my previous video I made. So what about the case if the father does not consent to the pregnancy? What about that? Is it wrong in that case? What if she doesn't? What if she does it behind his back, right? So is consent, is it only when the doctor is involved? Because I guess they're also consenting as well. Consent is not a thing that's related to pregnancy. I hate with like, oh, you're like pro rape if you don't give the grant this abortion, or you don't believe in consent, right? Consent doesn't apply in this case. Who are you consenting to, right? I was watching a Trent Horn video, right? It's like the moral, something to do with atheism, right? For example, the comparison was Like, why is it wrong to eat animals? He just asked a question. And people would say, well, an animal... Well, okay. Take it back. Why is it wrong to have sex with animals, right? And he said, well, animals can't consent, right? Well, if that was the case, then if it's wrong to have sex with animals because they can't consent, it would also be wrong to have, eat animals because they also can't consent. That's not a good argument. You don't want to make that argument, well, because they can't consent. Because, okay, again, animals don't consent to being eaten. So, like in pregnancy, they don't consent to being killed through abortion. Now, some people say, well, they don't consent to being born either. But, again, you're actually allowing them to get up to that stage to make that decision later in the future. Like, for example... A newborn does not consent to you feeding them food, but again, it's in the best interest that they should eat to survive, right? So something that's definitely going to be expanded upon in the future, but I don't think you should use business at all. Like, consent is not related to pregnancy at all. Because an example, as I said, the example I said, right? If every other human died, and you were the only human on Earth, who would you be consenting to? Well, no one, because everybody's dead. So there is no consent, because everybody's literally dead. So there's no one to consent to. That's the problem.
We lost that round. Prepare for the next one.